Hello and welcome back to Suzerain with the Republic of Swordland and our economic growth doing great. What you got for me, Cortana Security Pact? Condemnation from United Cortana. United Cortana has voiced its disapproval of the financial accord between Swordland and Arcadia. Chairman Melies criticized President Rain for inviting the ATO to meddle in the affairs of Eastern Maricopa. In a firm stance against the perceived Arcadian imperialism, the chairman has vowed to defend the sphere of influence of the CSP. Okay then. Calm down. That's fine. Just chill. Briefing on the status of immigration regulation. We were in the middle of a meeting in the palace about our immigration policy. The ensuing discussion quickly became heated. I don't think so, Mr. Whiskey. It just doesn't make any sense to me that a foreign citizen should come before a sword citizen in Swordland. Well said, my analyst is also in line with this, especially during the economic recession. We are giving swordish jobs to migrants from other countries. What about our own people? Immigrants are the reason our economy is not completely unsalvageable. Look at Agnolia's immigrants in England. They have revitalized the whole region and in turn boosted the economy of the entire country. Simon can attest to that. Statistically speaking, allowing immigrants to become part of the workforce contributes to our economy, but I agree that the current situation is very nuanced. With that said, we can't just tighten our immigration policy and expect the economy to stay the same. We need to put our economy and the recession at the forefront. Thankfully, we have just started receiving financial aid from Arcadia. And then what? We'll become their servants? First they place their warplanes in Erlori. Then their armies will come. You will see. I do not approve of this decision at all. I've done this with the Swordist citizens in mind. Nothing else. That's how they take over countries, you know. Mr. Lancia has a point. We have seen it happen many times. Gentlemen, can we please get back on topic? Right. Sorry, Mr. Whiskey. As I was saying before, I was interrupted. Look at the superpowers. Do you see them closing off their borders? Why do you think their economies are in such good shape? They are in their current state because they welcome immigration and use it to their advantage. We need to modernize and reach the level of the superpowers. I'm of the same mind. It is proven that immigration helps countries develop. We cannot just deport our current immigrants. We need a decision before we move on. Mr. President, do you have any questions about the current state of immigration? Sure, what is the current legal status of immigrants? I just like reading. Currently, all accepted immigrants are given a work permit on arrival, so that they can work and contribute to the economy of Swordland. There is currently no limit on the number of immigrants accepted, however the numbers remain stable over the past years. Despite the laws, the fact is, many immigrants illegally work for the corporations. That is the main issue with immigration right now, not the immigration itself. Nonsense. If not for the unlimited amount of immigration, we wouldn't be in this state. How many immigrants live in Swordland? Official numbers show that we have anywhere between 2 to 3 million immigrants residing in Swordland. Even excluding the countless undocumented aliens in Mist, there's a very substantial amount. The primary issue is the strife they cause between less fortunate Swordish citizens and themselves. Including them in the workforce would benefit everyone, including unemployed swords. More taxes means more services. How do immigrants usually arrive here? There are 3 major paths they choose. The first one is Agland to Agnolia border, the second is Bergia to Welland border, and the third is the Lauren coast. Agnolians are the largest group. It's a light border over there, although recently political fugitives from Vegsland have been crossing the Grey Sea by boat to land on our coasts. potentially persecuted Westzek refugees tend to use the dangerous mountain passes of the Welland border. Many of them also have Blutish blood. This is significantly increasing the blood populace inside Bergia. Let's move on and see what we can be done about the immigration situation. Very well. David Whiskey opened his dossier, stamped with the seal of Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Before we make any decision, I have to remind you, during the elections we promised to keep our immigration laws relaxed, which I think is the right course of action. I disagree. We are supposed to control and reduce the effects of immigration, like crime and subversion. I see your point, Izelf, but the economy certainly benefits from more immigration. Internal order, on the other hand, suffers immensely. We should tighten the laws to prevent further chaos. David sighed wearily. This is going nowhere. Well, if we decided to tighten immigration, what does that entail? We would have to impose quotas and connect to that stricter border control. On top of our allowing our economy to take a hit. Mr. Hull, surely the well-being of our citizens and our internal security will more than compensate for any downturn in markets. Agreed. So our citizens to take priority. What are the consequences of keeping our immigration policy relaxed? Aside from keeping us on the path to prosperity, modernity, and continuous improvement, not much. Our current system is good for our era. We also have the capacity. This will allow us to continue protecting investments from foreign countries, which in turn will keep our trade steady. We would be more trustworthy partners. Stability draws money. Stability? What stability? We're already seeing clashes between our people and foreign interlopers. On the contrary, the only way we can achieve stability is through tightening our immigration policy. You heard the lady. Swordland first. I'm ready to make my decision. Yes. Everyone lean forward, eager to hear my response. We will keep immigration laws relaxed. I'm glad you made the right choice. We will be forced to handle new waves of migration from Magnolia. Our border posts aren't ready. Not only that, we've just abandoned the native swords who need our support the most. Also, this will bring a new tide of refugees from Welland, Bergia, and it's already a difficult region to manage. This is shameful. The citizens of Swordland aren't forgotten. Our work for them continues. And now they will compete with foreign immigrants just to put food on their table. It's disappointment in you, Rain. Sure, you think what you want to think. Anything else, Mr. President? Thank you for your contributions. Let's wrap this up. The ministers gathered their documents and rose from their chairs, some with frowns on their faces. I'm looking forward to the upcoming trade talks. Peter and I have been visiting Stockport and in preparation. I'll be coming along to talk with the economy minister. Looking forward to the potential partnership. If we are finished, I need to head off and get the ministry to work on this new policy. Same here. Our border units need to be informed and prepared. Keep up the good work. The ministers dispersed. Streamlined immigration. The latest immigration policies has made significant strides in addressing illegal immigration and streamlining legal immigration processes. The new policy has closed several loopholes that were previously exploited, leading to a reduction in the number of illegal immigrants. Additionally, the streamlined legal immigration process have made it easier for those who want to immigrate to the country legally to do so. National protests quelled. Law and order have been restored throughout the country as the nationwide protests have been quelled thanks to the devoted efforts of our security forces. The government took swift action to address the protest concerns and engaged in constructive dialogue with the leaders of the movement, resulting in a peaceful resolution to the crisis. Let's go! Relaxed immigration laws implemented by the Republic of Swordland streamline and expedite the immigration process, incentivizing individuals from around the world to choose Swordland as their destination. By simplifying visa procedures, reducing bureaucratic hurdles, and offering attractive immigration options, Swordland aims to attract talented professionals, entrepreneurs, and skilled workers who contribute to the economy, innovation, and cultural diversity. And freedom in education choice. The new privatization initiative has allowed many middle-income households to pay for better education in their districts. We have finally reached the point where our children are allowed to change their destiny by simply freedom of choice. The price might be higher compared to state-funded education option, but is it justified in performance? Whatever. Good enough. Central Bank drafts economic recovery proposal. In an effort to mitigate economic damages, Holster's Central Bank is working on a new proposal. The plan comprises several measures, including the accumulation of foreign exchange reserves, the adoption of the cautious fiscal policy, and increased support for export-oriented industries. The bank's initiative forms a crucial part in the border strategy to stabilize Swordland's economy. And then we got stuff all over here. Democratic Republic of Vagsland. Vagsland warns against Swordish privatization. Chancellor Imdrix Hegel has voiced his concerns over potential privatization measures being considered in Swordland. The Chancellor, a strong proponent of Vagslandish socialism, cautioned against the dangers of unchecked capitalism, citing the risk of increased wealth inequality and social instability. He expressed a desire for Swordland to consider a more equitable approach to economic development, perhaps taking cues from Vagsland's own socialist policies. Hegel further stated that Vagsland would only remain supportive of Swordland as long as the well-being of its people is prioritized. Republic of Welland. Welland condemns Arcatian financial aid. President Smolik has condemned Swordland for accepting financial aid from Arcatia. He said that cooperation with Arcatia will only bring trouble to the region, and warned Swordland for falling into the trap of West neo-colonialist agenda. Smolik also blamed Arcatian President Dwight Walker for trying to dominate Eastern Marcopa and exploit its resources. Republic of Kurut. Chancellor Ion Armour emphasizes neutrality. Chancellor Inos has publicly voiced diverse support for Swordland's sovereignty amidst ongoing attempts by superpower alliances to exert influence. Kairat, with its long-standing policy of neutrality, underscores the value of independent decision-making for the Swordish nation and advocates for peace, stability, and non-interference in internal affairs. Okay, everyone, calm. I don't know why all of you need to have an opinion on my stuff. Let me deal. Galcanist rally against Swordland. A recent religious rally by the Galcanists turned into a political demonstration against Swordland and its constitution. The rally, which initially intended to be a peaceful gathering, quickly escalated into a protest against the Galcanists and see as an unjust and evil government. The sect leaders have been actively promoting these views to their followers, who have been receptive to the message. The government is urged to monitor the activities of the Galcanists and take appropriate actions to prevent further escalation of tensions and political violence. Erlory, private party of the Gentlemen's Club, Villa of Peter. Far from becoming accustomed to my workload as president, I only felt more and more snowed under as the weeks passed. It had been ages since I had any time to myself. I was starting to lose my focus, and my temper was growing increasingly thin. Peter was the first to realize I needed a break. After much cajoling, he finally persuaded me to come to a meeting of his new venture, Gentlemen's Club. For the past few months, he'd been hosting a salon of sorts, not just for politicians and businessmen, but also for artists, entertainers, people of taste. He told me with a smile on his face. There was only one rule: no wives or girlfriends allowed, hence the name. And so I found myself in front of his new luxury villa in Erlory. Very loud jazz music emanated from inside. I waited and waited. Finally, Peter opened the door. I could smell the whiskey on his breath. Anton! Finally! Now the real party can start. Come on in. As soon as I entered, Peter closed the door and turned to the small crowd. Gentlemen, a mixture of your time, please. I now have the pleasure to present to you the man himself, the fourth president of Swordland, Mr. Anton Rain. I'd known him for long enough to understand that he was more than a little drunk. He made an elaborate mock curtsy as I passed him and walked into the room. The music stopped, and I felt everyone's eyes on me. Thank you, Peter. What's next? To choir? A marching band? No, I'm saving that house for your funeral. Peter laughed very hard, his own grim joke. Oh, dear members, please give a warm welcome to our very special guest, if I may. Anton, here, take this. He handed me a glass of whiskey and put his hand on my shoulder. We all know why we're gathered here tonight, to celebrate life, to have a brief escape from the tumultuous professions. I personally don't know any better cure for stress then a little drink. Only a little one? A few people in the crowd chuckled. Now, the tradition dictates, as the club president, I have to remind you of our house rules. There are 3. No politics, no wives, and no one sober. Cheers! Peter drank the whiskey in a glass in one go. I'm gonna just sip. I took a sip. Anton Rain might have the power to make a president free, but I, Peter Vector, the president of the club, now declare the party started. Music, go! The band started up again. After greeting the crowd around me, I felt a hand on my shoulder. Let me show you around. We walked through the corridors of his mansion. Statues and paintings lined the stark white walls. An arched window provided a view of the neatly manicured grounds, complete with a swimming pool. A grand Lesbian marble staircase led up to the second story. Peter gestured as the massive crystal chandelier hanging overhead. That chandelier was made in the 18th century. Can you believe it? There's even a hedge maze in the garden. How are you paying for all this? I'll let you in a little secret. Gus Manger had a lot of contacts in real estate. He brokered an amazing price for me. Oh, good for you. He'll also be at here tonight, by the way. What did you promise him in return? Only my money. We continued walking until we circled back to where we started. So what do you think of my little hideaway? It's amazing, but I'd hardly call it a hideaway, more like a palace. It definitely doesn't rival yours. Anyway, let's get back to the party. I'll arrange for some caviar to be brought in from Lesbia, yet you're gonna love it. He opened the door to the main hall, and we rejoined the other guests. The music was louder now, and the mood decidedly more inebriated. Cocktail waitresses were carrying around plates of canopies, wearing dresses that left little to the imagination. So this is what we've been hiding from Evelyn, eh? No one is hiding anything. She knows how important it is for men like us to blow off steam once in a while. What do you mean by that, Peter? He averted his gaze for a second before calling over one of the waitresses. She was in her mid-20s, wearing red lipstick, her blonde hair neatly tied into a ponytail. On her plate were toast points slathered in Lesbian caviar Peter had mentioned. I took a bite. It was rich, salty, tasting of pure seaside. I could almost hear the sounds of waves and seagulls. Lesbian caviar, best in the world, I'm telling you, Anton. There are few pleasures in life that are like this. As the waitress left us to serve another attendee, she flashed a quick smile at Peter over her shoulder. He smiled back, a little too broadly. Sensual. His eyes were fixed on her, with an expression I remembered from our many nights out together as students. Oh look, there's Gus. Why don't you talk to him? I'll be back in a minute. Peter, I'm warning you, don't make a mistake. Mistake? What are you talking about? I'm just going to the washroom. See you shortly. He left the room, and I headed over to Gus. Gus Manger was standing next to a couple of men that I recognized as banking industry magnates. As I approached, all of them turned to me and bowed their heads. Mr. President, a toast to our new member, everyone. Gus and I clicked our glasses as the people around us raised theirs. How long have you been a member? Since the beginning. It's a fun gathering and quite lucrative at times. You might have heard that Peter and I arranged the deal for this mansion. He also told me that you might be interested in potential opportunities as well. This. He opened his arms, gesturing at our opulent surroundings. Let's take a walk. The balcony has an amazing view of Erlory. We left the room and made our way to the balcony. On the way, he took out 2 cigars and held one out for me. I have reviews. I turned the cigar down. Gus lit up his own and started smoking. We went out to the balcony. All of Erlory was at our feet. From the vantage point, I was able to see how expansive the building plot was. The swimming pool and the hedge maze were visible from here. Leaning over the railing, I admired the view for a moment before Gus spoke up. I know you're wondering about the deal Peter made. In a nutshell, thanks to my network, he was able to procure this house for half the asking price, which would have been impossible under any other circumstances. I'd be delighted to discuss a similar arrangement with you. In fact, I've prepared a document with my own personal favorite opportunities. Your willingness to invest in Gotham showed you were a man after my own heart. I'd love to talk about how my network can benefit you personally. I'm glad my investment decisions are paying off. Cheers to investments paying off, then. He downed his whiskey. Let's talk about the details, then. Gus opened his briefcase, pulled out a thin dossier. He showed it to me. My first offer is, of course, real estate. There's a vineyard close to Erlory, about 1 hour drive from here. That also includes a very large villa, a beautiful plot, but rather neglected, so there would be a fair amount of renovation costs. On the bright side, you would be able to produce your own wine. The previous owner, Geralt of Ribery, a world-renowned venture. There's also the option of football partnership. I already own a large portion of FC Enrica, and I'm doing my best to make them champions. Buying in would be more expensive than the vineyard, but this season will bring a lot of returns, I'm quite positive. My biggest opportunity, though, is the possibility to buy shares in Underhall Construction. My conviction ensures me that this would not be open to the public. It would benefit you greatly. As you know, they're the biggest construction company in Swordland. Give me the word, and I will start procuring prices. But we must act quickly, as these options might soon disappear off the market. Yeah, why not? I don't have much money. I gave all my money to Surge. And one other thing. I mostly just remember Surge, to be honest. Oh, yeah. I did one. I don't remember the other thing completely. I just remember I gave money to Surge. Surge is my boy. I always support Surge. No. On second thought, I don't want to do this now. Very well. Do not maim me if they are not available at a later date. If you excuse me, I'm going to refresh my drink. See you around. He left to rejoin the party, alone on the balcony. I looked out over Ellory. Suddenly I heard a rustling from a hedge maze below. I looked down and saw a silhouette. 2 silhouettes, actually, so close together they seemed to be entangled. I squinted to try to get a better look. It was definitely 2 people kissing, but I couldn't see either of their faces. I returned to the party and spent some time mingling with the other guests, engaging them in a small talk about their businesses, their children, their relationships. It had been a while since Peter left. I looked around but couldn't find him. Instead, my eyes had landed on Elward Afonso. With a smile, the former president walked over to me. Strange, we just saw 2 people kissing and moved on. Whatever that's about. Mr. Alfonso, I don't know your... Mr. Alfonso, I didn't know you were a member of Peter's Club. I'm not. Gus, and I have a business dinner, and he convinced me to come along afterwards. I saw you speaking to Mr. Major earlier. We talked, yes. It's always nice to get to know one's ministers outside the Moon Palace. We had a good chat together back in Narbel, as I recall, resulting in your very wise decision to invest this sordid money in Gotham. We're seeing growing interest from international investors, by the way. I'm optimistic about the results of Swordland's investment. Terrific. I'm looking forward to a big payoff. I can't tell for sure how big it will be, but our projections are looking good. Just then, Peter came up from behind us and threw an arm around each of our shoulders. Look at you two. Swordland's bright future and its ancient past. It's been an hour. Where have you been? I told you the washroom. Trust me, you'd rather not know the details. Well, Mr. Alfonso, have you been enjoying my hospitality? Indeed, I have, Mr. Rector. You put together one hell of a gathering. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to have a quick word with the CEO of Sworders Petroleum. He's here too? What a party. Alfonso gave a brusque wave and walked off. Peter shifted his weight. Nice guy. Not a president, but a nice guy. I'll give you one more chance. Where were you? Peter assumed a patient look. Well, Mr. President, too much shortest whiskey beats too much Lisbon caviar. It can lead to a gastrointestinal imbroglio, the likes of which the road has never seen. I'll be direct. Were you with the waitress? What? No. How could you even think that I'm married?
man. Peter, you know you can tell me anything. I thought I saw his cheerful expression slip for a moment.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. It's nothing. Nothing at all. Now, who wants a drink?
Besides me, of course. He poured us 2 large glasses of whiskey, and we drank them in one go. Throughout the party, we drank and drank just like old times. I woke up the next day with a pounding headache and more than a few regrets. My recollection of the evening were hazy, but there was one important detail that kept coming back to me. The red lipstick on Peter's collar. Maybe my memory was playing tricks on me. Or maybe not. What we got? BFF poisons Swordfish schools. Governor Felix Braun's latest report reveals a troubling development in the ongoing fight against the Bluedish Freedom Front, BFF. It has come to light that BFF propaganda has been found in schools that teach the Bluedish language, indicating a sinister effort to radicalize young people in the Bluedish majority areas. Governor Braun's swift action in bringing attention to the issue highlights his commitment to protecting citizens of Bergia from the BFF's harmful influence. Governor Braun also proposed to introduce a ban on the Bluedish language as a primary education language towards ensuring national unity and preventing further radicalization. He called the lawmakers to immediately draft a bill that enforces Swordfish education into all citizens of Swordland. We believe it is essential that government takes immediate action to address BFF's recruitment strategies and properly enforce the national language of Swordland. Governor Braun's leadership in this matter is commendable, and we fully support his efforts to safeguard our country's security. And I don't. Progressive investment in rural development. The government's suggestion is the Vestin Grooney Rural Development Investment Plan is a promising step forward to revitalizing our rural economies. This initiative will not only secure our nation's food sustainability, but also uplift agrarian communities, and an encouraging sign of the government's commitment to a vital sector of our economy. President Rain saves the day. According to the information we have received, President Rain has decided that he will veto the Religious Harmony Bill. The bill itself has the words harmony in it. However, don't be fooled by the name. The proposal prepared by Kesserum Kemenir took a stab at the heart of the Bluedish populace by banning Bluedish language from being spoken at religious assemblies. If not for President Rain, this bill would have come to pass. Every single blood should be grateful for the exemplary decision by the President. Geopolitical. Swordland accepts aid from Arcadia. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, under direction of President Rain, has announced Swordland's acceptance of an extensive aid package proposed by Arcadian Foreign Minister Laurent Martel. The package, promising financial assistance, logistical support, and equipment aid, offers a lifeline to Swordland's struggling economy. President Rain's decision reinforces a campaign pledge to pivot Swordland westward toward Arcadia. This may be viewed by some as the president taking a stance in the international arena, aligning Swordland with Arcadia, a significant superpower with enduring regional influence. In return for the aid, Arcadia seeks refueling and repair access at Swordland's Erlori Air Force Base, as well as occasionally flyover rights in Swordland's airspace. Arcadian President Dwight Walker has personally assured that the agreement aims for peaceful objectives. While this aid package provides immediate relief, its deeper implications are being closely observed. Rain's acceptance of the deal signals a potential shift in Swordland's geopolitical alignments, suggesting a possible alliance with Arcadia's treaty organization, ATO, and by extension, Lesbia. As the new trajectory unfolds, this far-reaching impacts of strategic shifts are yet to be fully revealed. Yeah, your friend. Yeah, we're gonna be best friends. Hopefully. Maybe. But I think this is a good time to go ahead and end this episode. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And look at that growth! Oh my god! But yeah, as always, peace.